Two Shy Girls podcast. I'm Simone.
And I'm Anne.
And today we're talking about some interesting topics. Let's first start with John Kennedy. John Kennedy is, one of the Kennedys. He's like the grandson of, the Kennedy. You know what Kennedy I'm talking about. But he lost an election. So he was going for governor, and he lost an election. He was the first Kennedy to lose an election in the state of Massachusetts.
Yeah, I think that was really shocking to everybody because, even to himself, because I think he was really relying on that name Kennedy to get him into office. So I was really surprised when he actually didn't get it, when Markey got it.
Yeah, but if you were a Kennedy, wouldn't you be like, I'm a Kennedy, I should win?
Well, that's what I think he was doing. I think he was came to a point where he was relying on his name to get him to win this election, and I think that's a lot of times. I don't know, like if you think about like the Bush family and the Clintons and all that, like it's almost like a dynasty for some families.
Might as well be.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. So I think like.
Hey, the Trumps are making their own dynasty right now.
Yeah, I
don't know. I don't think I would want to be the person that lost an election with the last name Kennedy.
Especially for him, because I think he was genuinely disappointed.
Oh, that's sad.
I think he really, really thought he had it.
He's cute too, so like, yeah, that's sad.
But it's also surprising too, because I think for a while, given the past with like the primaries and all that, people thought this idea of like that super like progressive. I think they thought that came to an end because. I don't know if you saw that. There was like a lot of things coming out about like, Ocasio, she's not gonna get it again, and Jan Omar, she's not gonna get it again because people are like over that like.
Yeah, but didn't Ocasio get it again?
Yeah, exactly. But like,
they also regardless of whether or not, people are over this whole progressive thing. Most people don't vote. Like. Mm-hmm. So the people who are either far right or far left, like those are the ones that vote. So Of course Ocasio was going to get it again because our super liberal base was going to give it to her again.
And it'd be also interesting. I don't know. I just feel like how do you see it? Like as far as like, I think it tells us a lot about as far as local and smaller like state elections versus presidential elections.
I'm for state and local elections. I think they matter more than presidential elections because they affect you on a regular basis. Also, specifically in a pandemic, local elections are way more important because now people are seeing... because now people are seeing... what their governors are actually doing and like what the governors actually have power over and what mayors are doing. But I think people before were just like, he's running for mayor, he's cool.
Yeah. And I think too, social media has helped a lot with that. I think I've seen more of a push to get out and vote. I wonder too if part of it with presidential elections, I feel like sometimes, I don't know, maybe this is way off, but that people think they don't need to go to vote in the presidential election because there's going to be enough people who go and do that.
I would think the opposite. I think people think that they're like if somebody votes, they only vote in the presidential election because they're like... because they're like, this is the only thing that matters. But it's not true. Also, town managers are super important, but they're not elected. I used to work for a town manager. He made a lot of money. Just like a note. But he made a lot of the decisions, not the mayor, not like the elected officials, really. It was the town manager did a lot. But yeah, that's kind of far off from what we were talking about originally. And I had another thought, but I can't remember it, so whatever. Speaking of presidential elections, though, Trump visited Kenosha.
I can't even.
Well, now Biden's visiting Kenosha.
Yeah.
Okay, and I think it's really performative of Biden to be like, oh, Trump did it, now I'll do it. Like, first off, Trump pissed me off because he, like an asshole, went to Kenosha and didn't visit with the family. And I just feel like he could have just, like, softened the black vote just a little by going to go visit with the family and be like, yeah, you were, just pick one and be like, you were wronged. And then now Biden's like, well, I'll go meet with the family, but like, Biden, I don't want you to meet with the family.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess he can, but.
And I think that tells us a lot about also, again, like, I don't know what I see from, as far as like Biden's strategy seems to just be like, whenever Trump does something stupid, that's what, like, the campaign rides on, which is important to get him out, but I don't know, I want to see more from him.
Did you see that interview he had where he was literally falling asleep? Oh my god, he was really asleep, and they were like, oh yeah, now we're with presidential candidate Joe Biden, and he's like asleep. He's snoring, and they're like, oh well, he's just taking a little nap.
See, that scares me. That really scares me, because it's like, is this campaign about you want to make change, or is it just about, like, are you going to go beyond defeating Trump to make sure we don't get any more Trumps in office?
I mean, he is, what, like 74?
Yeah.
I mean, how much change can he give us? He's been on the wrong side of history every single time. And so, I mean, so it doesn't really surprise me that he's just doing reactionary shit to say, oh, well, Trump didn't do it, so I'm gonna do it. Like, and he hasn't, I mean, he's been doing that the whole time, but also, like, worse. Not that Trump is great, but he's just been doing everything either a step behind or a step lower.
Yeah. And I don't know, it's sad that that our choice now literally is just like, it's down to, well, if you don't vote for me, then you get Trump. Like, I mean, what is Biden's, beyond that, what is his
platform?
What's his agenda?
Dude, I don't know. I've been really into Joe Jurgensen, so so I'm not very versed. I could tell you so much about Joe Jurgensen, but I cannot tell you anything about Joe Biden. Joe Jurgensen is my girl. She is funny on Twitter. I love her. Her like VP choice. His name is Spike Cohen. That's not his real name. He named himself Spike after the My Little Pony character. Dead. I think she's. I mean, and aside from the fact that she has like, she's really the only candidate that's like anti-policing, anti-war on drugs, like she pro-gay rights, like truthfully pro-gay rights. She's the only one that is. And there's like this huge campaign to like let her on the national debate stage, and I'm so here for it. But that's.
Yeah, I mean, and like something like when I that's why I don't know where the missing part we're missing, like as far as like getting people like that into the front runner. What are we missing that's not letting them into that front spot. Why is that not happening? And that, I think, you have to ask yourselves, just like how we asked, like, who's voting for Trump. I think we also have to ask ourselves, like, okay, like, comparing, like, who's voting for Trump, who also, like, as far as who's really, like, pro-Biden, like, just so super pro-Biden.
One of my friends is super pro-Biden. He used to be a Republican. He's very gay. We went to college together. He's great and he is so funny. But, like, and he was made fun of a lot for being a gay Republican. Like, but, I mean, yeah, he was just made fun of a lot for being a gay Republican, and, like, especially in a Trump era, being pro-Trump the first time he came around. And now he's really, really pro-Biden. And a lot of he's been getting hate, so much hate from his original, like, family friend base. Because they're like, you traitor, like, why would you do this? But just to give an example of pro-Biden, he believes in, like, everything Biden is doing. He believes that he's going to be the change that the world needs to see. And he truthfully believes that Biden is doing a lot to try to get the young vote. Like, I don't agree with him, but there are people out there. I mean, and he's, what, a year older than me? He's young.
And I similar, like, as far as, I heard, like, a lot of people who I've had friends tell me this, like, you know, all the pro-Biden people, they're just, like, the older generation. But I've met a lot of young people who are super pro-Biden. And it's funny when I talk to them, like, they're just, like, really, they see it very similar. Just, I guess, as far as, like, Biden being this super progressive guy that he's actually, like, he's going to make good change. And it's also when I talk to them, too, as their focus is so much on just going back to the way things were before Trump. And a lot of the issues that are popping up, like, now with Trump, like, obviously there were issues that existed before.
Right.
And it's funny, when I talk to a lot of pro-Biden people, they don't see it that way.
Okay, so the Obama era wasn't perfect. I mean, I was, like, 8 when he got elected, but it wasn't... No, I wasn't 8. I was older than 8. Maybe I was 12. Anyway, not the point. The point is, it wasn't perfect either. I mean, Obama had some questionable choices, but namely what I think people were mostly focusing on when they say go back to the pre-Trump era is that races were very quiet.
Yeah.
They were like, there was, like, the really big ones, but your average Joe wasn't out there being racist randomly. Like, there was the extremists who were, like, lynching things of Obama, but for the most part, it was just extremists. Like, it wasn't like the person you went to college with was going to be racist in your face, but now it's like that. And I think that's what people want, or at least I hope that's what they mean when they say back to, like, before Trump. But, well, since we started on Kenosha, let's go back to this, as you put it, demon far-right Wisconsin kid, also known as Kyle Rittenhouse.
He's actually from Illinois?
He is from Illinois.
Yes.
Like 20 miles from the border, but he's from Illinois. So what do you think? You have a lot of opinions.
I do have a lot of opinions about that. My biggest concern is, did you see they were groups collecting money for him?
Did you see that GoFundMe took down his campaign?
No, you're going to jail. I'm sorry.
They were like, no.
Oh, come on. You know, he's gonna. They don't need to worry about him. They'll give him a nice little cushy cell and all that. You know.
Oh yeah, that's if he goes to jail. Come on now. Like, do they have his arraignment already?
So far, they're really hush hush about this, aren't they?
Yeah.
Think back to Dylan Roof, the guy who shot up the church.
Yeah, Dylan Roof.
Yeah, it was very similar. Very like hush hush. After, as far as like the trial going.
Yeah, it's because the government secretly hates black people, and they're like cool with them dying. But you know, it's like okay, just a tidbit on how the government hates people. I was in class, and we were in Crim Pro, and this girl said, "Yeah, when I was an analyst for the FBI," and I was like, first off, girl, you don't belong here. Like you already succeeded in life. Please step away. But she was like, yeah, we really didn't like the fact that you couldn't wiretap cell phones anymore. And I was like, girl, like, I think most people generally are like, please don't wiretap my cell phone. And she said, yeah, now we can do it. It's just a little bit harder. And I was like, what the? So the story straight from the FBI.
It's just a little bit hard. It sounds like she was annoyed with that.
I mean, it's probably. She's like on the bureaucratic end. It's annoying to be a little bit harder. But yeah, so I think the government really is trying, like the government and like the justice system is really just trying to not incite more race riots, and that's why they keep those things hush hush. Because like but to the point that Dylan Roof, all of his stuff was kept really quiet, there weren't riots after that. There were just people sad and going to church. Like they were, I mean, what's the problem? Like we were doing well, and then everybody looked and looked and looked and was waiting for him to get arraigned and waiting for him to go to trial. It never came up. But yeah, I think Kyle Rittenhouse, I do love his last name. It's so fun to say. Rittenhouse. I'm very black. He would probably hate me. But I do think his is going to be very hush-hush too. Which just leads me to believe that nothing, like, he's not going to get in trouble for anything. I mean, the first one especially, like, I don't think he's going to get, to be fair, I don't think he's going to get the second person he shot and killed. Mostly because I understand law. And that one, there's a feasible self-defense claim. Because he was attacked with a skateboard. Now they thought he threw a Molotov cocktail, but it was a paper bag. But yeah, so I mean, you took crim law. What do you think?
See, this is where, that's why I dropped out.
And?
Because, in my opinion, like, you're talking about, like, this kid, either way, had basically, like, a military weapon. Like, I don't care if someone knocked him over the head with a baseball bat. Like,
okay, and, if somebody was coming at me with a baseball bat and I had a gun, I would also shoot them. Like,
but he walked in to a peaceful protest with, I mean, isn't there a tent there? He had the intent to go there and...
No. I'm not saying that he couldn't satisfy the requisite murder things, but what are those fucking called? You know. They're not charged. I think he could satisfy murder. But I think after you have to satisfy murder in order to get a self-defense charge. And I definitely think he could satisfy the requisite intent, but it's just self-defense, you know? Like, but
this is why I dropped out.
This is not why you dropped out.
This is why I dropped out. I swear, that class pissed me off so much.
Okay, but Anne, listen. Self-defense... Okay. You know what? Never mind.
I need some water for this.
Never mind. It is stupid because when you think about the fact that self-defense is going to get people like him off, but yet women who kill their rapists, the rapists don't have a valid self-defense claim because people were like, well, what was she wearing? Like, it doesn't fucking matter. She can be wearing a trash bag. Still, first off, murder your rapist. Like, I'm okay with it. If we're gonna go with, like, what we're okay with, murdering a rapist is on the list. Like, don't just murder. But, like, if you're, like, if somebody's raping you and you just happen to have a knife? Like, I don't know.
Remember, wasn't there like a checklist of just like it has to be like if you could get to like if there was a door in the area or something.
Yes, if you could get to a door, you got to do the door first. You got to retreat. Are we in a retreat state? I should know this. I don't know this. Yeah. Well, if we were in Florida, we wouldn't have to do anything. Florida would be like stand your ground. Go nowhere.
That goes back to, doesn't that, again, I think that shows bias too, because doesn't that only work for some people?
I mean, of course the justice system is biased, but like, if you had a really good lawyer that was well connected, you stand your ground laws are favorable. But, what were we talking about?
We were talking about Wisconsin.
Oh, yes! Wisconsin Demon Boy.
You saw it, like, as far as the news dug into this a little, as usual, just a little smidge, but most of my information that I've been getting about him, I've had to go through, like, independent journalists and...
Right, like, not even NPR's updating me, and I'm like, NPR, come on, I depend on you.
Mm-hmm. Because, I mean, he had a lot. I mean, if you looked at his like, his social media pages, like they said, you can go through a history, and this kid always had this history from the time he was a kid, like to be just like this super police force who only sees like, you know.
Right? Didn't he have like rape charges?
That I did not know. I know he hadn't. There was a video I know of him assaulting. I don't know. Can I use that word? I don't know if he got charged for anything with that. But
well, he definitely got charged, but I don't think he got convicted of anything. Mm-hmm. But he did. I'm pretty sure he had a rape charge. I mean, I'm pretty sure. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I know he had like 6 different charges at one point for various things. But I don't think he got convicted of any of them. Or I mean, if he was tried as a minor and probation. You know, white people how they get probation all the time. Yeah.
He had a lot of Blue Lives Matter stuff on his page and all that. I mean,
it's hard, you know, because like, cause first, so like, you know, do you know the one person in law school that I'm talking about that is specifically a cop?
You're asking me to remember from our class?
No.
Oh. Maybe. I think I maybe know who you're talking about.
Black, yay high?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. His locker is right next to mine. So he's such a good guy. Mm-hmm. And he's so outspoken about, like, how cops are wrong. And I'm like, what? You're also a cop. How are you doing this? I mean, and I know several police officers that are very outspoken against, but at the end of the day, they're still cops that are still going to work and doing whatever they got to do. So it's weird when you know so many cops that are outspoken against this and that are like, yeah, black people need justice and all, you know, all the typical things. But yet they're still putting on their uniform every day and going to work. I think my candle only has one flame lit, and there's supposed to be 2.
Which one? Oh, the red one?
Yeah, the red one.
Can't see. No, there's 2.
No, that's a reflection.
Oh God, I'm that tired. I still got drive back. No one heard that. Cut that part out.
The shit?
No, the part about I gotta drive home tired.
Oh, everybody drives home tired.
We should do something on that one. Seriously, that is an important topic too.
Okay. Well, we have one more.
We do. Is it the jetpack guy? The jetpack guy.
Is it the jetpack guy?
Jetpack guy.
Listen, okay, so
I'm so confused. You gotta explain explain this to me.
So actually, George told me, and so they were just at 30,000 feet, and they were like, the airport control was like, what is that? And it was a man on a jetpack, and then it was confirmed by a plane, and the plane was like, what is this man on a jetpack doing at 30,000 feet?
Was it a passenger plane that saw him?
Mm-hmm.
Could you imagine?
Yeah,
Just
I'm
passenger
like,
on that plane.
Look, how was he breathing? First off, at 30,000 feet.
To ask you.
I don't know, but man, I thought it was so funny. He told me that they were the person at 30,000 feet on a jetpack. Also, I really didn't know that jetpacks were real.
I did not either. I had to look that up, and apparently they call it like a recent invention, as in like the past like decade. But there's actually like jetpacks.
See, like the only thing I know about jetpacks is that Jimmy Neutron had one. So I was like, okay, jetpacks are a thing of the future because this boy genius has one. But I didn't know that jetpacks were real.
Apparently it's but here's the thing. Is it like, because when you say Jimmy Neutron, that's what I picture, like, you know, like the actual like rocket like jetpack. So is this like an actual jetpack that has already been invented, or is this like some sort of like hovering thing? Because obviously this man that they spotted, 30,000 feet, that's an actual, like, this man shot up. Literally rocketed up. Also, how do you hide that from people? Like, obviously no one knew about, because, like, they said the FBI is investigating.
They said a lot of things, and...
How do you hide that from people? What did this man keep it in his garage and was just like, you know what I feel like
that was
today?
just test day. He was like, how high can I get?
By the airport or something?
He was, maybe he just lived by an airport. And he was just like hovering over his garage for a while, and now he's like really tested the height. Well, you know, it's been fun. It's a fun time.
Just another weird thing to come out in 2020.
Oh yeah, 2020 is a weird year. Well, this has been Two Shy Girls Podcast. I'm Simone.
And I'm Ann.
See you later.